Luck, savvy trades, and a little more luck is how the New York Islanders transformed their prospect pool from one of the worst in the league to my 4th best in just under a couple of years. Now, just because I'm saying the Islanders got lucky doesn't mean I don't think they deserved it. And let's be honest, if anything, the fact that the Islanders won this last year's NHL draft lottery is proof that it isn't rigged. Coming from a Sharks fan who desperately wanted Schaefer, I can't help but feel happy for those very deserving Islanders fans. If you want to see how I'm grading each team's system, make sure you watch the first video in this series, which I'll leave linked in this video's description. And super quick, I just wanted to say thank you. I just hit over 100 subscribers, which I know it's a lot of you, probably doesn't sound like a lot, but I couldn't be more grateful. So for all of you who have watched my videos, liked them, and especially subscribed, thank you from the bottom of my heart. This is just the beginning. There is much more to come. Okay, now let's get into it. Here are my top 10 players in the New York Islanders system. And Islanders fans, let me know how you think I did here. Is there anyone I missed or that you think's too high? Let me know in the comments below. But starting out at the top, we have Matthew Schaefer. If you watched any of my previous videos, you'll know how badly I wanted the Sharks to get Schaefer. I've heard a lot of people questioning if he has #1 D-man potential, but I don't have those questions at all. Saying Schaefer has elite skating for his size is putting it mildly. He is such a clean and smooth skater. His agility and his natural offensive weapons makes him a menace in transition. And he's also displayed great defensive skills already. Have I mentioned the kid is just 18 and is already a natural leader and mature beyond his years? Who watched this last year's draft and wasn't moved by the touching tribute the Islanders and Schaefer did for his mom that just passed away from cancer a little over a year ago? Seriously, I can't express how high I am on Schaefer and what a great player I know he's going to turn into. In Schaefer, the Islanders are getting an elite puck-moving, speedy D-man, a no-doubt future captain and leader of the team, and an amazing human being. Yes, there are questions about the small sample size of games that he played, but you can't deny that every time he's been on the ice, he's looked like the best player. To me, I have zero questions. Schaefer is a true #1 defensive prospect. Second player on this list is also the second player the Islanders robbed from the Sharks, and that's Victor Eklund. I mean, come on guys, first Schaefer, and now you stand in the way of a family reunion happening with his older brother in San Jose. But putting aside all of that, and aside my personal love for his older brother, William Eklund, Victor Eklund plays a style of game that I love. Super high energy, plays bigger than his frame, and helps everywhere he's needed. Have I mentioned that he's an explosive offensive weapon also? It was so exciting watching Eklund play with Blackhawks prospect Anton Frondel this last year at Your Gardens. How often does an 18-year-old beat his entire team full of men in points? I think every one of Eklund's skills translates so well to the NHL, and have no doubt he'll make an impact soon in New York. There are some concerns about his size with how physical he plays, that there are potential injuries in his future, but you can't knock him for that. Even with how well he played last year, something tells me Eklund is poised to take even a bigger step forward this year. Next, I have Callum Richie, which was acquired in the trade with Colorado, where the Islanders traded away Brock Nelson. In addition to Richie, New York got a 2026 first-round pick and a conditional 2028 third-round pick. I'm usually not one to grade trades, but if you ask me, a pretty tidy and handsome return for an aging star player. So this is a good example that yes, the Islanders got lucky in winning the draft lottery, and that great players like Eklund just fell to them in last year's draft, but their management has done some pretty good work behind the scenes also. Now to Richie's game, and out of every prospect in the league right now, Richie has to be one of the smartest and aware on the ice. I love the way he's always looking for teammates, and his off-the-puck IQ is elite. In my opinion, the ability to find openings in the offensive zone and time bursts of speed through gaps in the defense is a severely underrated quality. I was just impressed time and time again with Richie's positioning on the ice and the intensity and awareness he played with. Also, Richie is a big game player. He was lethal in the postseason for Oshawa. 25 postseason points. Okay, next I have Cole Yzerman, and for whatever reason, Yzerman is one of the hardest players for me to evaluate. You look at his offensive game, especially his shot, and you have no doubts that he's the real deal. Yzerman is elite at moving his feet in the offensive zone to find an open piece of ice, load up his stick, and then absolutely wire one home for a goal. That is his game. He also plays with a ton of passion and intensity. Where I start to question him is on the defensive side and in transition. To me, Yzerman struggles bringing the puck up the ice, and that passion and intensity that he displays on offense just doesn't seem to carry over on defense. I was really hoping that I'd see growth from Yzerman in those areas this last year, but I just didn't. So we'll see if he can round out those those areas, but if he can, the sky is the limit for Yzerman, especially offensively. Next is Kahan Herson, and I don't think there was a more exciting player that I scouted this last year than Herson. If you like high energy, physicality, violence, and glove dropping, Herson is your guy. He even showed a surprising amount of offensive production this last year. I'm not sure that's his game or if that production will follow him to the NHL. At his floor, Herson is a bruising, irritating, and surprisingly skilled player who is willing to lay it all out there for his teammates. My question is, who doesn't want a player like that on their team? Andrei Procarov marks another great addition from this last year's draft. For me, Procarov was one of the most physically dominant players that was drafted this last year. I talked about Herson's violence, but in Procarov, you get a huge 6'6" frame, which that pure size and his decent skating ability are an amazing combo to build off of. His 20 goals in the MHL this last year were decent, but I would love to see Procarov add to his offensive game. But at the very least, he projects as a high energy, physical forward, perfect for a third line role. He's slated to play in the KHL this year, which I think will be great for his development. Next up, I have Danny Nelson, who's a strong two-way forward playing in Notre Dame. I've had a hard time evaluating his development so far because at times he's everywhere on the ice, pushing the offense, making his impact felt everywhere. This is what I saw at the World Juniors last year, where Nelson played a key role in USA winning gold. The other time, Danny Nelson kind of fades into a game. I also question his offensive upside and where he'll fit in a lineup. Regardless, Danny Nelson is a great prospect and one to watch take the next step this next year. Next, I have Quinn Finley, and the step that he took this last year in his game was too good to ignore. He was over a point per game player in Wisconsin. Finley's got great speed and is constantly and relentlessly working the puck up the ice. I would love to see Finley add strength and more defensive responsibility to his game, but he is a pure spark plug with middle line forward potential written all over him. Now for the Islanders' most exciting and polarizing prospect, Maxim Shabbanov. With the numbers and ridiculous skills Maxim Shabbanov displayed this last year in the KHL, Russia's men league, you'd think he'd go top 3 in these rankings. Then you look at his size, around 5'8", and the fact he's already 24, and it makes it harder to put him up there. If Shabbanov was doing all this in a frame that was similar to a player like, let's say, Andrei Procarov, we would be saying that he's the next big thing. I mean, was there a player outside of Demidov this last year who put up a more insane highlight reel than Shabbanov? Check out this Michigan. Nasty stuff. In addition to that, he possesses such incredible shiftiness and agility that I think he can work around his size limitations. Definitely one of the players I'm most excited to watch this year in the NHL. Next is the Islanders' best goalie prospect, at least I think, and that's Marcus Gidloff. Just check out his massive 6'7" size. Tell me the last time there was a goal in the NHL at that size. I'm sure it's happened before, but it is so rare to see. And even at that size, he is surprisingly twitchy and athletic. Gidloff bounced around from the Swedish Junior League and the men's one, but put up pretty solid numbers everywhere. These numbers are just from the SHL, Sweden's Pro League. So those were my top 10 Islanders prospects. A few names who I left off that I wanted to mention anyways are guys like Luca Romano, Camille Bednarik, and Jesse Pulkkinen. You'd have to say the strength in the Islanders prospect pool is on the defensive side, with having the best defensive prospect in the NHL right now in Matthew Schaefer. Also, they have a really intriguing dichotomy on defense, with on one end, you have Schaefer, who is super offensively gifted, an amazing skater, smooth, talented, and on the other side, you have Kahan Herson, who is strong, bruising, physical. So I just thought that was interesting. In general, a really well-rounded prospect pool, if you were to ask me, with pretty solid forward, defensive, and okay goalie prospects. You would probably say the goalies are the weaker side of the prospect pool. I know you have Ilya Sorokin in the NHL, but he's 30. Eventually, you'll need to cross that bridge. But anyways, that's my justification for why I have the New York Islanders number 4 in my best prospect pools in the NHL. So let me know of your guys' opinions down in the comments below. Even if you disagree with me, maybe especially if you disagree with me. I love having conversations with you guys. Let me know who you would have instead of the Islanders if you disagree with me or if I messed up big time elsewhere. If you guys enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing and coming along with me, as there are many videos like this to come in the future. Anyways, thank you so much everyone for watching, and have a good one. Bye.